Hey there, it's Binky back today with yet another review, and this is on an item that broke the internet. That is the Sweet Peach palette by Too Faced. Yes, this was nearly impossible to get when it was first released, but they're back, they're here for everyone, and I myself have one. I didn't try to get it the first time around. I tend to be cooler or more neutral skin tone, so I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with peach colors? They can work on cool tones, but I wasn't sure if I needed a whole palette. But this time I decided, okay, why not try it? So I did pick it up. Now, it's a really nice container, but a lot of Too Faced, their larger palettes have this nice metal container, which I'm a huge fan of. I absolutely love these. They keep everything protected. It's just really sleek, nice, same design, except here you have this happy little peach and the happy little guy making the appearance here and there as well. Just nice, streamlined. I really do like this. So inside you have a mirror, and then you have the peached palette. Now, I know a lot of people were saying this doesn't really look like peach. There's not very many peach tones. But the owner of the company has stated that when he came up with this idea, it was more of how the peaches changed. So like when you cut it inside, you get the light peach color. On the outside, these lighter peach colors would appear over time, but as they aged, they would get darker. And so that's what a lot of these other colors represent, is the whole lifespan of the peach. I know, it's like a biology lesson right here along with some makeup. How great is that? So what I will say is that if you are very sensitive to smells, which I'm not, unless it's really foul, then I am, but if it's a decent scent, it doesn't bother me. But I know for some, this palette may be difficult because when you open it, you can definitely smell the peach. It's definitely this light peach scent. It kind of reminds me of, I remember as a kid having some toy that had a peach scent to it. And, well, it was a toy with other scents, but one of them was the peach scent, and that's what it smells like. So it's not necessarily a natural peach scent, but, you know, it is an artificial scent, and it is rather strong. I felt that after I wore it for a while, it didn't bother me anymore, but if you're very sensitive to scents, this may be overwhelming for you. Also, I've heard of people having some breakouts because of the scent that was used, and it was irritating their eyes, so just be wary of that. So you may want to go into a Sephora or something and try it first to make sure that it's worth buying, because I think it's around $49. So it's, you know, kind of an investment for something if it's going to irritate your eyes. So I'm curious to see how it swatches. I have used a few of these colors already to check how long they last, but for the most part I haven't used this palette a lot, so I'm really excited to give it a try today. So here come the swatches. So I'm going to start from the left to the right, and starting with White Peach, which is a whitish peach, very light peach matte. Now I think this is going to be hard to see on me, and indeed it is, because I'm very pale skin, but it doesn't have a lot of pigmentation. But this is more of a highlight color, so I don't know if that matters as much. Then there's Nectar, which is a very light peach foil color. Again, got to dip it in there a couple times to really get the payoff that you're looking for. Next to that is Peaches and Cream, the third one down on the left side. And I feel like out of the three of them, Nectar probably is the one that works the best. So far they're very smooth consistency, but you have to take a few swipes to get the color payoff, especially with Peaches and Cream. So the next row is starting with Luscious. So here we go. It is a light orangish brown foil. So it's kind of nice. Actually, this one's performing really well. It's really creamy. I like this one. I can see myself using it. Cobbler is a few shades darker. There we go. It also is a foil and doesn't quite perform as nicely as Luscious did.
but still nice, especially compared to the last row. I really like this one. I can see myself using these two well. Georgia, who is the debutante of the palette, because these are the Georgia Peach palette, is here. And the payoff is not fabulous. That's unfortunate, actually. Yeah, I'm having a hard time working this one. It really is a true peach color, and it's just very difficult to work with. Very powdery rather than creamy. Pretty color. You can make it work, but just know you're going to use more of the product, and it is a little bit more difficult to work with. Okay, now we are going to the third row, starting with just peachy. So these are heading into the more peach tones that the palette is known for. So this one is more of a peach with pink through it. Nice foil. I actually really like this color, and I do have things similar to this, so I'll do swatches of almost identical shades, but this one's always a nice one to have in your arsenal of makeup. The next one is Candied Peach, which is more of a matte, and it is very grainy, actually. It's extremely grainy. And it doesn't have the best color payoff, as you can see. It's kind of blotchy. So unfortunately, this is probably one of the most difficult colors that I've worked with in the group. Then there is Caramelized. This is a beautiful foil dark brown, chocolate brown. And you have to do a little bit of work on it, but I think the payoff is quite nice. So it's kind of this goldy, bronzy brown. I love it. Right along, we'll move on to Bless Her Heart, which is a mossy foil green. It's a pretty color. I really like it. I really enjoy this color. It was kind of the one I was eyeing from the beginning. The next one is Bellini, which appears to be like another foil, very light orangish brown foil, almost a copper color really. This one's grainy. It's very grainy. And it takes a little bit of work to make it go, but once you get it to go, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it takes a little bit of work. The next one is Puree. This is a brown matte. Very chocolate brown matte. And as you can see, it's hard to work with. It just is not smooth. Now, of course, brushes are going to work a lot differently than using your finger, but even working it out, as you can see, it does work out, but you got to work at it. Okay, so I'm into the home stretch, moving on with the black of the palette, which is Tempting. So here we are. There it is. It's actually not that bad. I thought this one would be hard to work with because it's not the creamiest consistency, but actually it works really nicely. It's odd because I don't know if it necessarily fits within the palette, but that's just my opinion. It's kind of sticking out of these neutrals, but that's right. Next is Peach Pit. Okay, it's kind of a medium brown. I would use this one often. So then there's Summer Yum. Now this one's extremely chalky. It's almost like digging, it's kind of a cinnamon color, and it's almost like digging into your cinnamon spice and trying to work with it. Because it's kind of like that. I think Summer Yum is not the easiest one to work with. Moving it around. You can see it takes a little bit of work. And to note, Tempting does leave a little bit of a stain, so be prepared. So this is it. This is the last row. But anyway, the next one is Charmed, I'm Sure, which is a nice little chocolate or mocha brown matte. There we go. Goes on well. But the next one's Delectable, which is the purple of the group. Purples are notorious for not working quite well in formula, and I hate to say it, but Delectable is no exception. It's extremely chalky. And working it out, you can make it work, but just know you're going to have to use a lot more product and do a little bit of work. The last one is Talk Derby to me. Again, this last one I'm finding to be very chalky, but this is almost like a bluish, dark blue black. And it is very chalky and hard to work with. So I'm finding this last row of the darks to be a little bit difficult, but if you keep working them, they will, as you can see, eventually work.
So those were the swatches. You know, I have to say for the most part, I think it's decent, a decent palette. I do feel that the foils or metallics worked better than the mattes. The mattes, there were a few problems with them, especially with Georgia and some of the lighter tones on the first row. The one that really just didn't work for me was Talk Derby to me, which was this blackish blue. It gave me some problems, but I don't see myself reaching for that along with Tempting and Talk Derby to me. These two colors I just feel aren't necessarily the best fit for this palette, and I don't know if I would be incorporating them a lot in my look unless I was using them as a liner, so they're not going to get as much use for me. The first row, and this is just because of my coloring, did not show up very well on my skin tone, but I have a very light skin tone, so that's probably the reason. If you have a darker skin tone or even lighter than me, then these will probably show up, but for me, unfortunately, it didn't really show up. Georgia, which should have been the color that really worked because it's the Georgia peach, unfortunately was just, it was really patchy, didn't go on well, kind of disappointing. I really love Bless Her Heart. Beautiful color. I can see myself reaching for this over and over. I have used a few of these colors. Summer Yum and Puree I have used already along with Bless Her Heart, and I have to say they wore really well. Some of these actually worked better when you put them onto your eye than they do in swatches. So after you prime and prep your eye, I feel like these went on a lot better. They blended really smoothly. I think they wear better than they do in the swatching. I will be using this palette more and doing some looks and testing to see how long they last, and I'll be putting that onto my blog. But all in all, I kind of wanted to be a naysayer on this. There are some hit and misses on it, but I do like this palette. If you have anything similar to this, I don't know if I'd go out and buy this if you already have palettes that are very similar to these colors, because, you know, we've seen a lot of these colors before. So I do feel that there are stronger peach palettes out there that actually do have more peach tones if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for something with a little novelty, it's cute, fun, has a nice smell to it, this is a great palette. If you're a beginner and you're looking for a nice natural palette, I think this one would definitely suffice if you're looking for something in this price range, which is around $50. All in all, I give it a thumbs up. I'm glad I bought it. And, you know, I'll continue to create some nice looks, especially when winter passes and we are back in spring and summer. But until next time, thank you so much for stopping by and have a fabulous day. Bye!